YouTube world, back at it once again. Instant Classic 8. I turned this on not really having a roadmap of what I want to talk about. I just know that I want to talk about AEW. So a lot of this might ramble. I'm going to do my best to stay on topic with a lot of things, but there are some things I do want to talk about in regards to AEW because, again, it's the company that I've been watching the most since they've started. The last time I was talking about AEW, they were going back on the road for a road rager, and it's been over a year since that happened. And I've really enjoyed everything. Well, not everything, of course, but I have enjoyed this past year. I think that they have been very entertaining. I've enjoyed obviously the shows. I don't miss a Dynamite. I really don't miss a Rampage either. And then the pay-per-views, of course, I can't miss. And it's just been really cool to see, man. Just it's really cool to see a high-level professional wrestling company on TV every single week. They switched over to TBS at the beginning of this year, and the first thing they gave us was the Bryan Danielson and Hangman Page rematch, and it was just like every week, man, there's something to look forward to. Every week you have some type of awesome match to take away from the show. Dynamite doesn't hit every single week. It's not great every week, and it's not going to. It doesn't need to be great every week, because if it's great every week, then it's never great. So I've enjoyed watching the shows. Again, it's something when it comes to Dynamite on Wednesdays, I look forward to it. Like ever since the first episode, every week I look forward to Dynamite. It's my favorite, and I been trying to sit here and figure out, is this the best wrestling show that I've ever seen, at least the weekly show, and it's really hard to argue against it. Compare it to your Raw and SmackDown and NXT and Impact, and at least for me, it's been the most entertaining. So again, I look forward to it every week. Rampage, which came on last year, it has a bad stigma to it because a lot of people aren't watching it. There are things, I believe, why, a big reason, at least right now. But a lot of people aren't watching it, so it has the stigma that it's not anything that you need to watch. And I think that's far from the truth. First of all, it's an hour long. In my opinion, it's the easiest hour of wrestling to watch. It's very similar to, at least for me, the golden era of NXT with those 1 hour network shows. And again, it's a show that is super easy to watch. You're going to get a good match on there. Is every show great? No, but it's rarely anything bad as far as like overall bad. I don't think it's a waste of time. And, again, it's got the stigma because no one's watching it. And I think a lot of that right now is the fact that, obviously last year, it debuted. So a lot of those ratings are going to be high, especially like with the year over year ratings are going to hit here soon. And it's going to look goofy. But it was an exciting product and people were watching at that point in time. But I think a big reason why you are seeing ratings down right now is the fact that it is summer, and like last year I was still somewhat in the house. Even after the summer of 2020, I was still somewhat in the house. I was getting out a little bit, but wasn't at home on Friday at 10 p.m. Or excuse me, I was at home at Friday at 10 p.m. and I could watch Rampage versus now where I'm sometimes I'm out, sometimes I'm here, and sometimes I don't even want to turn it on right there. And I don't think that Rampage is a show, unless it's live and like the card's good, I don't think it's a show that you need to watch immediately. Like with me, Rampage is a Saturday morning viewing. It's my favorite. I turn on Saturday and I enjoy that hour of wrestling. And again, I don't think it's something where people need to watch it when it happens, unless it's a live Rampage. And live Rampages are definitely special. There's a different energy in the building when it's a live Rampage versus a tape. So again, I enjoy the show. I know some people don't watch it, but I think that you are missing out on some good stuff by not watching it. The other little shows, Dark Elevation. I don't like Dark Elevation personally, but I do like Dark. I like the fact that you get to see all of these indie talent, and I really enjoy listening to the commentary with Excalibur and Taz. That's really the main reason why I watch it, is because they make it so enjoyable. And you get fun stuff on there. Like recently we've been seeing Pac in his title defenses of the All Atlantic Championship, and that's been really cool to see. You saw the stuff with Thunder Rosa, where she was having her championship maybe a number one contenders match over in Japan. But it's just really cool to see. And I hope it's more stuff like that that we see here in the future when it comes to those shows. One of the most underrated shows in all, it's not really a show, but one of the most underrated things in all of wrestling right now are the Road To series that AEW does every week. These things are fantastic. Like every single week, they will get you hype up for a match that you didn't really, you were like interested or a little bit interested, or they get you so hyped, and I love it, man. And I don't understand why we haven't gotten a AEW documentary or something from them, because they do a really good job, and I think there's plenty of topics out there that they can do a documentary on. But if you haven't been watching those, if you don't watch those each week, I mean, they're normally like less than 10 minutes long, and it's definitely some of the best stuff that they do. So overall, again, I'm enjoying AEW. Of course, the pay-per-views this year, Revolution was a really great show. I wasn't super into the main event going into it, the Adam Cole and Adam Page match, but it turned out to be a really good match. I think most people wanted to see the dog collar match with CM Punk and MJF. The MJF stuff has been fascinating this year, between him and CM Punk and Wardlow, and it's just been really, really cool to see, and I'm definitely excited to see where they're going to go. I would assume he's going to show up here soon, but it's just definitely been interesting how they've kind of, I wouldn't say drag it out, but it's definitely been interesting to see how this has been folded. And a lot of people think he's going to jump ship, but no one knows. No one knows anything, and that's really cool to really see, honestly. So excited to see what happens with that. Double or Nothing was a fun show. A little long. I know a lot of people mentioned that already, but it was a long show. But honestly, I wasn't tired. Like with me, it was a long show when I look back on it. But when I was watching the show live, like I wasn't tired. Like, and there's been times with AEW shows where I was a little bit tired at the end. But this one, like I was pumped going into that CM Punk and Hangman Page match. So, they do these, once a quarter, man. If you spend 4 hours or whatever once a quarter watching these awesome shows, and you look at the back half of Double or Nothing with the Kyle O'Reilly and Darby Allin match, the Thunder Rosa and Serena Deeb match, the Anarchy in the Arena, the triple threat or the three-way for the tag titles, and then the world title match, like that is a awesome stretch of matches. And again, when you look back at it, I would have probably taken out that middle chunk where the two Owen Hart matches, and then also the who was it? It was Sammy and some people. That match, that 6-man. If you take those three matches out, I think it would have been a lot better received pay-per-view. But again, I definitely thought it was really fun. And then my pay-per-view of the year, Forbidden Door, was incredible. One of the best shows. Very, very, very long time. Just super enjoyable. I know a lot of people weren't looking forward to it going into it because the card wasn't the best. It wasn't what we were looking for. And I think that we're going to get some better stuff here in the future. But for the first time out with the card that they gave us, when we got that, bro, come on now. Like, that was really awesome. And I enjoyed that show for sure. This summer has been weird. Everybody's been hurt. Punk got hurt the next, the Dynamite jumping into the crowd. And I'm super surprised that a lot of people didn't pick up on that. Like, I was on Twitter that night. I live tweet every Dynamite. And I was on there, and when he jumped in the crowd, and you can see his face, and he was limping. And I felt like I was only one of the few people who pointed out, like, hey, he looks hurt. But, everyone was riding off the high of him being the champion. They were in the LA Forum. It was a really cool moment. But when it happened, that sucked. And he's been hurt. Bryan Danielson's been hurt. Adam Cole's been hurt. Kenny Omega, of course, has been out since last year. It's been a rough go, but I think that they've held stuff together. It's been interesting that I wouldn't say it kind of worked out for them, but this summer, the AEW stuff has kind of like been put in the backseat, and they've been doing like the Forbidden Door and then also the Ring of Honor pay-per-view. They were building all that stuff up, and it was kind of interesting where they didn't necessarily need all those guys at the time. Granted, it would have been cool to see all of those. We were going to get Punk and Tanahashi. It would have been cool to see that at Forbidden Door, but those guys going out during that time period when they were focusing on other stuff was definitely, again, I won't say a bright spot, but it kind of worked out for them. And now the fact we're getting all these guys back. CM Punk just came back last week. They're teasing Kenny Omega. Looks like he's coming out this week. Adam Cole, he showed up on Dynamite. Eventually, he's going to be wrestling here soon. Am I missing anyone? Danielson's already come back. It's just been really cool to see. And I think this fall, I think the fall season is going to be really kind to AEW. And I'm very excited. They were riding high of the summer between the T-Mobile Arena running that, then they go to the LA Forum, and then they do Blood and Guts in the Detroit show. They have All Out coming up. They did United Center, of course, for Forbidden Door. It's again, I think that they've been doing really well, and this gloom and doom for AEW has definitely been weird to see, and I think a lot of that stuff has to do with the merger of Warner and HBO, all of them, and Discovery. And people have, we think about WCW immediately, and especially with it being on a former Turner network, you get a little bit nervous. But I think a lot of that stuff is not needed, man. I think a lot of that gloom and doom is just people just overreacting. I think AEW is totally fine, and I'm very much looking forward to what this fall is going to be bringing. There's a couple things I do want to talk about that I'll hit on in another video, specifically the video game that's coming up. I do want to speak about that. Also want to talk about 2K because I do have some opinions about that game. And then, again, something with the merger, going over hopefully we get some stuff when it comes to streaming deal. All of that stuff I want to be able to talk about here soon. Really quickly, I might discuss this a little bit more in another video, but the fact that Tony Khan does own Ring of Honor, and we've seen a couple of Ring of Honor shows this year. Supercard of Honor over WrestleMania weekend was a really fun show. I enjoyed the hell out of watching that show. It does have my it has my match of the year. It'll probably change as soon as I turn this video off, but right now it has my match of the year of the Briscoes versus FTR. Fantastic tag team wrestling. I thought that show was awesome, and then they just ran another pay-per-view last month, Death Before Dishonor, and again I thought that was a really good show as well. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Ring of Honor here in the future. Are they going to get a streaming TV deal? I don't think they're going to get put on TV. I don't see that happening. But are they going to get a streaming deal here soon? Are we going to get more pay-per-views? Or the rosters going to be split? It's definitely going to be interesting to see. And again, I'll talk about a little bit more about that in the future once we get some more information. But it's very exciting to see. But here in the upcoming weeks, we have All Out on the menu coming up here soon. All Out 2021. I mean, what can you say about that show? I was in attendance. I've been striking out trying to go to shows, AEW shows in Chicago. It's just been a big pain to go to. I went to the first Dynamite that was in DC. I've been to 2 other Dynamites, and then the pay-per-view last year, and just being in attendance for that show was incredible. And we have All Out this year. I'm going to go again. Very excited to go to the show. Chicago's a really fun city. By the way, people complain about Chicago getting all the shows. Until they stop selling out the buildings and until those crowds stop popping for everything and being crazy and being one of the best crowds that we see, until that happens, keep running in Chicago. Obviously, we want to see other locations for sure. I can't wait for them. They announced Canada. Those shows are going to be insane. Eventually, they're going to go overseas to England. And, man, it's going to be awesome. But they're going to keep running Chicago. And again, until those crowds diminish, I don't have a problem with it. But All Out, I wish it was in the United Center. I was looking forward to that. We went to the Now Arena last year, and I was very much looking forward to going to see a show in the United Center. But it's the Now Arena again, and that's going to be fine. No real matches announced. I think the only thing that's announced right now is Eddie Kingston and Sammy Guevara. They announced... Okay, so really quickly, there's new belts I know people complain about the belt situation in AEW. When you look at it as far as AEW championships, they don't have that many. When you combine all of them together, when you're bringing in IWGP titles and AAA titles and Ring of Honor titles and Rev Pro title, all this stuff, yeah, it's going to seem overwhelming. But for AEW, they don't have that many. But maybe you feel differently. I don't know. I think it's fine. I like championships. We see the All Atlantic Championship, which I mentioned earlier. I really like that belt. I like the look of it, first of all. But as soon as they announced that belt, I immediately thought, like, this is the Forbidden Door title. This is the title that you can be able to take to other promotions and be able to defend it. And we've already seen that with Pac, and he's going in there and being able to defend it on all of these different companies, and eventually he'll make his way to New Japan. And I think it'll be cool if one of their guys wins it and they come over here and defend it, or some of our guys go over there and wrestle for it. It's really cool to see. And I think that's a belt that you don't really have to worry about the politics. Like, we're just going to share this belt between the companies. If it makes sense, we can beat this guy, we can have this guy win, they can run with it for a couple weeks, a couple months or whatever, and then move on to someone else. So very much enjoy that belt, and again, that's what it seems like it's going to be, so I hope that's what we get more of. And then of course the trios titles. This is titles that we've been hoping for like the last 2 years. They finally got announced. They're going to be doing the tournament starting this week, and then the finals are going to be at All Out. You would think the Elite will probably be in the finals, but hey, man, you have the Elite, you got Death Triangle, you have Ozzy Open and Will Ospreay. Like, holy smokes! You have Andrade and Rush, and they have Ryu Lee now. It's really cool to see, and these matches are going to be so awesome. I think with this title, you don't have to worry about storyline. Just give people title matches and just have awesome matches on TV. That's all you got to do. And I'm very much looking forward to this. I think these matches are going to be insane. I would assume we're going to get CM Punk and Jon Moxley title versus title. Punk came back this past week. It was awesome. It was a great moment. He did look like he was limping a little bit coming to the ring, but hopefully he's okay. Hopefully, Jon Moxley, who is my wrestler of the year, he's just been fantastic, and I don't see him having a bad match, even with a semi-hurt CM Punk. It just depends on what they're going to do. Like, what's the finish of this? Where are they going to look? Like, where are they looking to go to, especially again the fall season? Got a lot of big shows coming up. It's going to be very important for whoever leads as the champion. I would assume it's going to be Punk. But again, I would assume we're going to get this match, but we haven't heard so yet. Maybe a Toni Storm versus Thunder Rosa. Thunder Rosa, we love her. It was great. I think that she won the belt just a little bit too late. And I think it's time for her to lose as well. Just trying to get some new blood, and I think Toni Storm is a good person to put in there. I really think Jamie Hayter should have been there, to be honest with you. And obviously we got Chris Statlander, who she just got hurt again. You feel bad for Stat, man, but the women's division gets a lot of flack. I'm fine with it. Like, it's fine for me, but we'll see what they do with the women's title there. I don't know whether they're going to. I would assume Jade's going to have some type of match. I would assume she might wrestle Athena, and it would be nice. I love Jade, I really do, but I would like to see someone else have that championship and maybe get some more matches in there. Especially if you give someone like Athena who can go out there and really wrestle, it'd be cool to see. Tag title match, you're looking at what? Swerve and Scott versus Scott. Swerve and Strickland. No, his name is Swerve. Keith Lee. Swerve and Lee. Excuse me. Swerve and Lee versus maybe like FTR. I thought we were going to get FTR versus Young Bucks, but we're not going to get that right now. But eventually we're going to get that match. But maybe FTR challenging for the titles. We might get Ricky Starks versus Powerhouse Hobbs, which would be cool to see. Bryan Danielson versus Chris Jericho seems like it could be a likely match. I don't know. I think it's going to be a cool show. Again, AEW pay-per-views. I always look forward to them. Again, being there in person, I think it's going to be really awesome. So I am very much looking forward to that. But again, AEW, they have my heart when it comes to pro wrestling, and I enjoy them a lot. And again, the fact that they are pro wrestling, and they're so open to working with all of these other companies. You look at working with, New Japan when it comes to Forbidden Door, even sending guys over there, bringing guys over to Dynamite. I went to a Dynamite back in November last year, and I got to see Ishii wrestle in person. Like, in a Dynamite, I've seen Ishii wrestle before, but just in a Dynamite ring or AEW ring was just really cool to see. And again, they got relationships with AAA, and they got, AAA talent on here and bringing the belts on here. And then, like, DDT, freaking Konosuke Takeshita, like, holy smokes, out of nowhere. At least, I wasn't watching a lot of DDT. I know he's been wrestling for a while, but just like him coming onto the scene and just having these awesome matches on Dynamite with freaking Jon Moxley, and he's having TV matches with Eddie Kingston and Claudio Castagnoli, and man, come on now, this is pro wrestling nirvana. And once New Japan, like I mentioned in my video today, once New Japan gets up and running and you can start to have crowds to cheer, and you can start to bring over more foreigners and not have to worry about any type of restrictions, this is when it's going to get awesome. And I'm excited for this, man. Again, AEW, I love them. I am so thankful that company exists and not have to sit there and worry about WWE. And yeah, it's been a blessing for sure. So let me know what you think. Have you enjoyed AEW? I know some people have kind of been, again, gloom and doom when it comes to the company. I think y'all are crazy. But let me know what you guys think about what's happening and what's on the horizon. Until then, Instant Classic 8. Peace.